Hi everyone, let's take a look to the main concepts behind the VR editor platform. We have been using video game engines for AC in the last few years, typically for showing renovation design in existing buildings. There is a design team with a proposal about new equipment, illumination, wayfinding, furniture, or any other kind of renovation. And with the video game engine, we produce a VR render quality interactive presentation. You can freely move around with realistic materials and illumination with the same quality that you would expect from a static render. And you can directly check and compare different options. Because these interactive presentations are custom developed with the video game engine, and it is possible to include any needed functionality or user interface. The result of all this is that anyone can easily visualize how the design is going to look like. Possible clients, the authority, or in general any stakeholder of the project. In some projects, the use of video game engines has sped up the approval process quite a bit. But let's take a look in detail about how is the typical workflow. First, you have to integrate the renovation proposal in the 3D model of the building. Maybe it's an old building and you have made before a 3D laser scan in order to have an accurate model. And of course, you want to use this accurate model to check the proposal. In this type of renovation project, like for example illumination or wayfinding, the design teams normally they are not 3D specialists, even less BIM specialists. Because of this, probably you will have an external consultant taking the role of a BIM modeler. With the proposal on 3D integrated in BIM, you can have more or less a simplified VR presentation with basic quality. Most of the BIM authoring tools have plugins for this. But if you need higher quality, realistic materials and illumination, and specifically if you need custom functionality, like to compare different options with a special user interface, it will be needed to develop a tailor-made application using a video game engine. For this, you will need a second external consultant, taking the role of a VR specialist. We have at the end a long and complex workflow that involves several external consultants besides the original design team. Every design iteration implies to remake the full process. If the proposal is more or less finished and approved, this is fine. But in early phases, for fast design iteration, this is not really practical. So finally, the VR render quality environment cannot be really used for design. And this is the most frustrating part of this workflow, because it can be such a great tool if used directly by the design team. So, what is the main concept behind the VR editor platform? To use all the potential of the VR render quality environment, not as the result of a very complex workflow, mostly external to the design team, but right in the middle of the design process. And in order to achieve this, the VR editor platform is three different things at the same time. It is a model editor to directly change and iterate the design. It is an online platform to easily share the design with others. And always in both editing and sharing the design in the same VR render quality environment. And the third part, and this is a key element of the system, is that the VR editor platform is a project-based service with full model preparation in order that the project in the platform is ready to use by the design team. Now let's take a look to the VR editor platform as model editor. There is two different sides here. The first one is a 3D modeler easy to use for not 3D specialists, that you can directly change and iterate your design in a VR render quality environment with robust functionality for placing and editing objects in building models, and thought for multiple design options, with a direct and efficient way to work with options. But In the other sides, all the editable objects are internally defined as parametric bin objects. Even if the user has not bin knowledge or experience in parametric objects, the resulting design is fully bin. You can use the current plugin for bidirectional link with Autodesk Revit. You can get the model design in the VR editor in Revit format, with all the editable objects as Revit families. And you can work in parallel with both the VR editor and Revit, editing your design in any of the two, and always have a synchronized model. If you use a BIM authoring tool different than Revit, you can get the model design in the VR editor in IC format. Let's take a look now to the VR editor as online platform. All the data is stored online. This allows that different users can edit or review the same model simultaneously. Any proposal is immediately available anywhere for check and review, always in the same VR render quality environment. And it is thought for different kinds of users, not only editors, but reviewers too, with different level of access, depending on the user type. A core part of the online platform is the integrated system for project review. It is a flexible system for conversations and comments in long-term projects. For example, you can group similar conversations using tags, filter the conversation by the users involved or by tag, or archive all conversations. And for any comment, you can direct access to the version of the model when the comment was done. This is quite handy to track the progress of the model following a conversation. This functionality is connected with a timeline system to follow the progress of the model over time. Any previous version of the project is stored online, and you can review and check any older version. You can move freely around the model and directly compare different versions. And you can switch on off the timeline mode at any time, coming back to the current up-to-date version. And you can use the timeline mode to restore partially or totally any previous version. Let's move on now to the VR Editor platform as project-based service. Every project in the platform has two basic components that we are going to fully prepare working with you in the project: the base model and the libraries of editable objects. For the first component, we provide a base model with realistic materials and illumination up to the requirements of the project. If needed, we can make a full new model. If the project is in an existing building, we recommend a laser 3D scan to have an accurate model. We are specialists in scan-to-BIM implementation. If there is an available model, we will reuse it, making any needed modification or update. The use of an available model will not imply any change in its ownership. For long-term projects, we can update the base model for the lifetime of the project. And for the libraries, we develop all the editable objects needed for your design, always internally defined as parametric BIM objects. If you have already 3D objects, we can reuse them, making any needed modification or update. If you use an online system or catalog for 3D objects and it has a web API, probably it is possible to include a direct connector in the VR editor platform. For long-term projects, we can provide new editable objects during the lifetime of the project